Today we break down a story that's got Washington sweating and Twitter buzzing. At the latest SCO summit in Tianjin, India, Russia and China were suddenly back in one frame, looking chummy, looking coordinated and yes, sending the US into what looked like a classic case of diplomatic FOMO. And the American response? Well, not tariffs, not threats, but a love letter on social media. Let's unpack this for you. Prime Minister Narendra Modi returned to China after 7 long years, and it wasn't a quiet trip. First, he met Chinese President Xi Jinping. Remember, just 5 years ago, these two were locked in a Himalayan standoff. This time, it was handshakes, smiles, even talks of turning rivalry into cooperation. Then came the headline moment. Modi riding shotgun with Russian President Vladimir Putin in a shiny made in Russia Urus sedan, cruising up to the Ritz-Carlton in Tianjin. Bromance on wheels. And if that wasn't enough, the three leaders, Modi, Xi and Putin, ended up in the same frame, trading hugs and giggles, a picture that screamed, "Trump, you messed with the wrong crowd." For Washington, this was the nightmare scenario: India, China and Russia signaling solidarity. Back in Washington, panic buttons were perhaps pressed. The US Embassy in New Delhi suddenly dropped a gushing post on social media, calling the India-US partnership a defining moment or a defining relationship of the 21st century. It highlighted innovation, entrepreneurship, defense, economic ties, all the warm fuzzies you'd expect from best friends forever. It even quoted US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, praising the enduring friendship between Washington and Delhi. Sounds nice, right? Except there's the catch. This love note came literally hours after Modi, Putin and Xi's photos from Tianjin went viral. And the irony, just days earlier, Trump had slapped India with 50% tariffs on its exports, plus an extra duty on Indian import of Russian oil. Every other day, someone in Trump's circle is bashing India for buying energy from Moscow. In fact, while the embassy was busy typing out hashtags, Trump advisor Peter Navarro was on Fox News, calling India a laundromat for the Kremlin. He even took a swipe at Indian elites, claiming Brahmins are profiteering at the expense of the people. So the embassy tweet didn't exactly land. Indians flooded the comments, calling Trump a hypocrite. One user wrote, "First you slap us with tariffs, then you post heart emojis." Clearly, the US wanted to do damage control, but it came off more like panic control. Here's the larger story. Trump's tariff tantrums have backfired. Instead of isolating India, they've nudged New Delhi into rebuilding ties with Beijing and doubling down with Moscow. For India, America's moves weren't just economic bullying. They were an insult to its autonomy, telling Delhi who it can or can't buy oil from. Now that doesn't sit well in a country that still values quote-unquote its strategic autonomy as its doctrine. And so at Tianjin, we saw a visible tilt, India exploring space with China, rekindling chemistry with Russia, and using SCO as a stage to show the US that it has options. But here's where it gets even bigger. These optics from Tianjin aren't just about one summit. They're about reviving a 25-year-old idea, the Russia-India-China Axis, or RIC. Back in the late 1990s, Russian PM Yevgeny Primakov pitched RIC as a Eurasian counterweight to an unipolar America. Through the 2000s, it had meetings, photo ops, polite statements, nothing dramatic. Think of it as a WhatsApp group that was active before BRICS and SCO came along. But now, under pressure from US sanctions and tariffs, that old WhatsApp group has been reopened. Call it RIC 2.0. Why does it matter? For Russia, RIC is survival. It's a proof Moscow isn't isolated. For China, it's another platform to chip away at US dominance. For India, it's wiggle room, a way to avoid being boxed into choosing between Washington and Moscow or Washington and Beijing. What we are also seeing is part of a broader global South pushback. From Latin America to Africa to Asia, many countries are tired of being told to pick sides in the US-China rivalry. India's moves at SCO feed into this sentiment. We'll decide our friends, we'll buy the oil we want, and we won't be bullied into bloc politics. For Modi, this is also smart optics domestically. Standing with Putin and Xi shows India won't bend, even under Trump's tariff threats. It's about projecting power at home while playing the long game abroad. So where does this leave the US-India relationship? Is it over? No, but it is complicated. India still values its ties with America, especially on tech, defense, and investment. Washington too knows India is crucial in counterbalancing China. But Delhi wants respect, not diktats, cooperation, not coercion. And if Washington doesn't get that, New Delhi will happily take that Oris ride with Putin or that handshake with Xi, because as this summit showed, India has options. So here's the takeaway. Trump thought tariffs would bring India in line. Instead, they've nudged Delhi closer to Beijing and Moscow and revived a dormant RIC axis. For Washington, hashtags won't be enough. If America truly wants India as a partner, it'll need to offer something more real than a tweet. Because in geopolitics, just like in friendships, respect matters more than hashtags and emojis.